Yo, YouTube, the title is correct. I've made over $600,000 online in the past year as a 16-year-old high school dropout, and I've been able to fully achieve time, financial, and location freedom. I literally get to do whatever I want. I live in Miami, I set my own schedule, and I don't necessarily share this to brag, but I share it because I know just a couple years ago, I'm now living a life that I only used to dream of, and I know that a lot of people obviously kind of want to be able to achieve similar results, and a lot of people are also just wondering how it's possible, especially other people that are at a young age similar to me. And so really this video, I just want to kind of document what I actually do for a living. So how do I make all this money? How did I get here? What's my kind of journey been like? My biggest takeaway so far, what I would do if I was just starting out, and just hopefully share just any advice and also any inspiration, because I actually really do this. I'll literally throw up some proof on the screen right now. You can see from my payment process showing the 600K plus that I processed. Now, given that is not all take-home income, that is total revenue. So if IRS is watching, definitely it's not all income, not all profit, but still a good amount of that is income, a good amount of that pretty much is profit. But regardless, let's jump in. So what do I actually do for a living and how did I get here? So kind of two different things, but basically mainly what I do for a living and how I got here was through this business model called SMMA. SMMA stands for Social Media Marketing Agency. What a social media marketing agency is it's basically a business where you serve local businesses, so people like chiropractors maybe or roofers, and you do their marketing for them. So whether you do Facebook ads for them, you do SEO, the biggest thing is Facebook ads, and you basically do this marketing for them to get them more customers that are going to pay their business hundreds or really most of the time thousands of dollars for their services, and then you help them add an extra 10, 20, 30, $40,000 a month to their already existing successful cash flowing business. And in return for that, they just pay you a couple $1,000s a month, $1, $2, $3, $4,000 a month, and they're happy to because the ROI is there, it pays for itself, and they're already running a business that makes money. And the reason they need the help of someone like you or just an agency is because a lot of these people don't really have the time to do the marketing, and they don't have any of the experience to do the marketing on their own. And the best thing is, and the reason I got started with this business model is because the ads themselves aren't really that hard to actually run, like to learn how to run the ads, but they don't know how to do it. And so that's kind of how the whole business model works. Now, the way you actually get these customers to pay you this money, the way that most people do when you're starting out or when you have limited access to funds, and the way I did it for the first 6 months of being in this business, is you basically directly outreach to these business owners. You do things, you cold call them, you cold DM them on Instagram, on Facebook, you email them. And this is okay, obviously, when you're starting out, when you don't have capital. And it's good to just initially get you some free trial clients or people that you can just test the service out with, because you have to have a good product or service before you can start charging money up front for it. But you just do that initially when starting out to get some case studies and then start making some money. And then once you have money, you start reinvesting in getting clients from what's called paid ads, where basically you spend money on like ads for your own business to get these business owners to reach out to you, to where then you're selling them and you're convincing them, and you're getting them on a sales call basically to sell them on working with you and giving your company thousands and thousands of dollars up front for your services. Now, keep in mind, it is not at all easy though to be able to sell these people once you get on a call with them, but ads is the best way to go about growing that business. Like for me, last year in the summer of 2023, when I started running these ads for my business, I went from doing basically just a couple grand a month to doing 10 grand a month in the first month of doing it. And then I got stuck at about 10 grand a month for the next like 7 months because one, I wasn't really good at high ticket sales. And two, I also wasn't really that good at actually scaling up the ads and spending more money on them. And so then that's the next part of the business, which is like you have to be good at high ticket sales. And for me, for context with me, when I was starting out, I didn't really have that much money. And when I was growing this business, now my agency does 50 to 75K plus per month. When I was starting out though, I literally had $0 to my name. And so I couldn't invest into paid ads and I couldn't invest into coaching. But once I invested into a coaching program for $12,000 in February of this year to help me out with the sales and the marketing, the front end of the business, I went from making 10 grand in February. I made 57.5 grand in March and 70 grand in April. And that's literally with like 90% plus profit margins, like no employees, no expenses, just me, or no employees. The only expense was ad spend, just me. Now, given this is a very hectic time in my life, I was literally, just keep in mind, I only dropped out of high school recently. Growing this business and getting to the point where I was making multiple six figures a year in income was all while I was in high school. And this was in-person high school. This is not like, oh, virtual high school or get a GED. No, I'm talking 40 plus hours a week commuting to and from a high school, 5 days a week, like I said, or 40 plus hours a week, while in person. And I had literally no free time. I cut off all my friends. All I did was work. So it was crazy, but I literally netted $100,000 in the span of 2 months just by getting good at this skill set called high ticket sales. And now with the point in my life where I'm at, I recently, about 2 to 3 months ago, I sold off a good amount of the equity in my agency to a business partner or slash mentor slash friend of mine. Because the only thing about running the agency is that if you've noticed, there's a lot of skills that you have to run an actual business to be a business owner. You have to know operations, finance, sales, marketing. You got to know how to lead a team, manage a team. And you got to keep in mind, I'm a fucking 16-year-old, 15-year-old when I started this. Like, I have no business experience and never even worked a job before. So I didn't really know how to do much of that. And so my growth and the money that I was making, it's like not even like it wasn't sustainable. It's just that like my customers weren't really that happy with me. And there's a lot that was going on where it didn't make sense for me to do that. And the biggest thing is, and you'll notice this, 70+% of billionaires started off in sales, in some sort of a sales job, where just sales is literally one of the most, it is definitely the most recession proof still. Like AI is not going to replace sales or whatever. But on top of that, sales is also a very high value still, because especially in online service-based businesses, whether it's a marketing agency or if a coaching business or consulting business, all of these people are selling services that are valued at thousands of dollars a month, or even like 5 to 10,000 plus up front. And the thing is, you need someone to get on a sales call to convince someone to buy that. You cannot just give these people like a payment page and expect them to check out, right? And so the biggest thing is they need sales reps to close those deals, and you have to be good to do that. But the sales reps that are closing those deals and doing that, if you just want to make 10, 20, 30,000 plus dollars a month in income straight commissions, being in a sales rep, a remote high ticket closer, is easily the best way for you to be able to do that, because you go into an already existing established business with a good product or service, good marketing. The only thing you have to do is focus on getting really good at selling, which for me, for context, I only really started like going all in on high ticket sales and learning and developing this skill set really only about like 9 months ago. And obviously 9 months later, I'm basically in the top 0.1% of sales reps, which isn't anything crazy to say. Most sales reps fucking suck. But they literally 9 months in and I'm already like at a very, very high level of skill. Definitely still have ways to go, but at a very high level of skill 9 months in. And keep in mind, I grew up as an introvert. I literally never, like if you told me 3 years ago that I would be like my full-time like job, or not a job, but like what I do for a living will be talking to other people, I would have thought you were fucking crazy, right? But the thing is, it doesn't matter if you're an introvert. Usually introverts actually do better, whether you're an introvert, an extrovert, young, old. Because I'm young. I had like all the decks stacked in my favor. I'm like fucking 15 years old talking to a business owner 3 times my age, trying to convince this guy to give me thousands of dollars. Doesn't matter though. Doesn't matter how young you are, old you are. Literally doesn't matter what you look like, what you sound like. Doesn't matter if you're an introvert, an extrovert. Sales works for everyone. If you just get good at it, you can make a lot of money doing it. And so for me, I recently sold off a good amount of the equity in the agency to go all in on high ticket sales. And just for context, 2 months ago, my first month officially in high ticket sales as like a remote sales rep, remote closer, I made $13.4 thousand in commission and straight income. Meaning I didn't have to do anything else but selling. There were no other obligations that I had. I don't have to deal with chargebacks, refunds, servicing clients, managing team, whatever it is. And then my second month in high ticket sales last month, I did $20,000 in commissions. And obviously it's scaling up from there. And so I just share that because one of the biggest pieces of advice I have for anybody starting off in the space that may be watching this video, or if I could go back in time and tell myself, do not start off by growing your own business, creating your own business. Start off in something like sales, or just develop some sort of a high value skill set, right? Because it's way easier to do that than starting a whole business from scratch when you have no experience. And for most people, if you just want to make 10, 20, or 30K a month in income, sales is by far the best way to do that. And there's no point in owning an entire business to be able to do that. That's the first thing I'd say. And the second biggest thing as well that allowed me to get to where I am and get here in a relatively short time frame is that I invested a lot of money into myself. If you were just starting out in this space, or even it doesn't even matter how experienced you are, even for someone like Alex or Mosey, you need to invest into yourself. Invest every free dollar that you have. Like I've invested, for context, out of the 600K plus I've made in the past year, I've invested over $100,000 of my income into different courses, coaches, masterminds, networking groups, and overall just like coaches to help me get to where I want to go in life that are already where I want to be. And that's helped me tremendously because it literally just shortcuts the path to success rather than trying to figure this all on my own, trial and error, and just wait and hope and pray. Hey, you're already where I want to go. I'm going to just pay you to get there. And that's the biggest thing I'd say to people just starting out. And if you're just starting out and you have no money like I did, you could try to find free resources on YouTube and use those, but I would really recommend to start out with some sort of money, even if that means you have to go work a normal job for a few months, because getting capital to be able to invest into yourself and into some sort of an educational program and your own self-education is going to pay you dividends. But now, literally all my life consists of, because like I said with the agency, it's just you basically run paid ads for your business, you get booked sales calls on your calendar, and then you have a salesperson, so someone like me, closing those sales calls and collecting upwards of $7,000 plus that we charge $7,000 for 4 months, and then collecting a payment for like $7,000, for example, for the services. And then the client gets a service, gets affiliate, gets onboarded, whatever it is. And so now all I'm doing is I'm all in on high ticket sales. All I'm doing is I'm just taking those sales calls, and literally I just get book calls on my calendar. I convince the business owners to buy from us. They pay us money. I get a pretty good percentage of that because I decided I own a decent amount of equity in the business. And that's literally all I do for a living. And with this, I'm able to, like I said, set my own schedule, control my income, because the better I do, the more money I make. And obviously, the location freedom to do for anywhere in the world. But that's pretty much what it is I actually do for a living. I hope this video was helpful for anybody watching. And please drop whatever takeaways or comments or questions you have below in the comments section below. I hope this is a good video in general because this is raw and authentic. You can see literally just one take in this, no cuts, really no editing, none of that. And the biggest thing I would just say like to anybody is like, it's possible, right? Like I said, like 3 years ago, if you told me that I'd be living the life that I was living today, like I wouldn't have believed you. There's nothing about me that is special. If anything, I had the odds stacked in my favor in terms of the business model that I went into, just of how young I am and the fact that I was in high school and all that. And I still made it work. The thing is, though, I was willing to sacrifice for what I wanted. I was so discomfortable living the life that I was living before, not because I was ungrateful, not because I was like homeless or whatever, but because I knew there was so much more for me that I was willing to do whatever it took to change. And for me, that meant spending 3 years of my life in isolation. I cut off every single friend that I knew in person. The only thing I did was work. And I still do it now, I spend most of my life sitting in a bedroom, sitting in front of a computer screen, just working. And that's what allowed me to be successful because I was just willing to do what most people weren't willing to do. And it's there. It's possible for you if you're just willing to work hard. You're willing to, as cliche as it sounds, if you just want to do whatever it takes, you'll do whatever you want. But that's the biggest thing. And I'm going to definitely be posting on here consistently because I want to show you guys, especially for other younger people, I want to be able to show you guys like, hey, this is possible. Because I know a lot of people, especially don't think at this kind of age, you can make this much money online, right? Like I made multiple 6 figures a year in take home income, but it's possible. And it's not really that hard. I have a lot of friends that are also doing the same thing. So I just want to document what it's like, someone's actually doing it at this age. Just share some value, share some knowledge and stuff that I know. And then, yeah, hopefully I'll build up this brand and one day maybe I'll sell you guys a course, sell you guys some coaching, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also in the description, I'm going to link to my socials, Instagram, Facebook, or put whatever other links that are in there. If you ever want to get in contact with me or talk to me or connect or literally anything, just feel free to hit me up, message me. I would be more than happy to help out, get on a call with you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Stay blessed.